we doing tonight? Y'all ready to welcome the 47th President of the United States back to North Carolina? You know, 9 years ago, Donald J. Trump came down that escalator in New York. You may have seen it. Pretty cool. And he said he was going to make America great again. And to do that, he was going to secure our southern border. He was going to build our economy, and he was going to make sure that we were strong enough at home and abroad to protect our allies and our interests around the world. And for 4 years, that is exactly what he did. Now here we are, 4 years later, and look at the mess we are in. We have a vice president who has led the charge, as our borders are, with 94 executive actions to dismantle the most secure southern border that we have ever had. She has flown them in. She's given them a phone app so they could fill it out and walk across that border. She has given them free health care, free college tuition, driver's licenses. No wonder we've seen 10, 12, 15 million illegal immigrants coming across that border into the United States. We don't know who they are, we don't know where they are, and we don't know what they're doing. Now, we do know that they pose a clear and present danger to every single community in North Carolina and across the country. We have a vice president who cast the tie-breaking vote for $2.5 trillion worth of unnecessary, wasteful government spending. And when President Obama's economic advisors told her that this is going to send inflation through the roof, she did it anyway. And now every family in North Carolina is paying 25% more for grocery prices, 25% higher for housing prices, unless, of course, you want to buy a house, then it's twice as much as it was 4 years ago, and 50% more for gasoline, and even more than that for diesel. You know, we've got a vice president who stood up Benjamin Netanyahu at a joint session of Congress so she could go to a sorority event down in Texas. Who has stood up for Hamas synthesizers all across the country. Who went to a European leaders' confab and told President Putin, do not invade Ukraine. 5 days later, he invaded Ukraine. Not much of a deterrent. You know, today, America is a much weaker country than we were under Donald J. Trump. And when America is weak, the world is a far more dangerous place. This election cycle, it is pretty clear what is at stake. What is at stake for North Carolina, for America, and for the world? It's a pretty clear equation. Are we going to have a weak country under Kamala Harris? Or are we going to have a strong country under Donald J. Trump? Because Donald J. Trump has promised on day one that he will shut down that southern border. He will initiate the largest mass deportation in history. He will end the scourge of migrant crime and fentanyl. Donald J. Trump has said on day one that he is going to end inflationary spending, He's going to unleash American energy, and he is going to bring prices down. And Donald J. Trump has said that he is going to stand up to bullies like Russia and China and Iran. And he's going to stand up for our allies like Israel and our interests all across the world. Donald Trump has pledged that we will back the blue, and we will support and honor our troops, our veterans, and our military families. So the question that I have for you, North Carolina, is a pretty simple question. Do you want Kamala Harris in a weak country? Or do you want Donald J. Trump in a strong America? Well, we've got 3 days, folks. We've got 3 days to change the direction of this country. We are at an inflection point for this world, and we are at an inflection point for our country and for North Carolina. How many people here have already cast their vote? That's pretty solid. How many people are going to cast their vote on Tuesday? All right, but that's not good enough. I need every single one of you to commit right here and right now to 50 minutes. I need 5 minutes of a conversation that you're going to have with 10 of your friends, your family members, your colleagues, your coworkers, and people that you go to church with. Commit to 10 conversations and tell them how important this election cycle is. Because when you do that, you are going to guarantee that we are going to carry North Carolina. You are going to guarantee that we are going to flip Congress, and we are going to have a Republican majority and a Republican speaker again. We are going to flip the Senate. And by God, we are going to send Donald J. Trump back to the White House as our 47th president. And then, and only then, are we going to be able to see the president get into that Oval Office and roll up his sleeves and make America great again. Thank you, North Carolina.